WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Tommy Lopez. We start tonight with the video that leads to the arrest of a Webster County woman. It's on felony abuse charges, child abuse charges. Sheriff Tim Mitchell says someone came to his office with a video of the alleged abuse in this case. So the investigation ended with the arrest of 28-year-old Stephanie Wofford from the Bellefontaine community. MDHS is assisting in the investigation here, and Mitchell says he expects more arrests. A Nettleton man is facing accusations that he physically abused a child under the age of 10. This is a felony child abuse charge. It's against 30-year-old Samuel White. Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says witnesses gave information to deputies in this case. The Department of Human Services also investigated. Cantrell says the incidents had been allegedly happening for an extended period of time. Family and friends of 54-year-old Michael Collins, they continue to remember him tonight. He was a Chickasaw County first responder. He died Tuesday night on the job. His other crew member is recovering from the head-on car crash. Our Jory Talley looks at the dangers of what they do.
It's a challenging job. That's why first responders form strong bonds. Together on Tuesday evening, they worked to save two co-workers in a crash that killed EMT Michael Collins. None of them could have prepared for what they saw and experienced.
It don't come out of that textbook, by no means. You got to have it in your heart.
Chickasaw County responders train together and work together. Emergency Management Agency Director Linda Griffin saw Collins at an emergency call less than 2 hours before he would die serving his community.
He loved working in Chickasaw County. That was his first priority, to stay here. And, you know, I know something happens to somebody, yes, all you can say is good things about him, but, you know, even if I was mad at him, I couldn't think of nothing bad to say about him.
Houston firefighter and Chickasaw County Fire Coordinator Jonathan Blankenship says it's rare and extremely painful when first responders work to save another first responder.
It's hard to comprehend at first. When the tones drop and you get the message that one of our own's in trouble, we go and you try to put aside your anxieties and take care of business, and then it all hits you after the fact.
Blankenship, like many who knew Collins, is still trying to process what happened and how and why. However, the work to save others continues.
We would love to be able to take off and just grieve, but we can't, because somebody's always going to need help. Something's going on, and whoever's turn falls on the day, you just get up and go, you know, and tomorrow will be a new day. Get to take off and do whatever we need to deal with it.
The people who knew Collins say he was a true team player, involved in the community, and easygoing.
He was a good guy. You know, he, like I say, he was always likable, and he, you know, I don't think he ever met a stranger. You know, he'd greet you as, you know, like the first time he seen you, like he knew you for years.
Joy, thank you. There are now final arrangements for Michael Collins. Visitation will be 9 to 11 Friday morning at Calvert Funeral Home in West Point. The funeral will be immediately following in the chapel at Calvert. Interment will be in West Point's Greenwood Cemetery. Let's turn to our weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is in with us tonight. Keith.
Tommy, no issues out there right now. This is our Alpha Insurance camera network in Columbus and in Tupelo. You don't see any fog developing. That potential is still with us, though. We have a dense fog advisory for parts of the area here as we go throughout the overnight hours, so don't be alarmed if you do see some fog in your location. We do have pockets of reduced visibility. Nothing too widespread at this point, but that could change later on. Temperatures will be cooling down into the low 50s. Now, tomorrow, get this. We are in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Once we lose those low clouds, a lot of sun and more warmth. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Keith, thank you. We turn our attention now to the impact that potential new laws could have on us. A proposed law in Alabama could allow faith-based adoption agencies to turn away gay couples. The bill made it out of an Alabama Senate committee today. It says the state would still license adoption groups, including ones that care for state foster children, if they refuse adoption to people on religious grounds. Around 30% of the adoption agencies in Alabama are faith-based. Opponents of the bill say that this discriminates against gay couples. This past summer, a federal judge struck down a Mississippi ban on same-sex couple adoptions. That ruling said that 16-year-old law in Mississippi, that it violated the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. There's another step forward today in the process of Lowndes County and the city of Columbus separating their current joint control of area parks. So a bill passed the House today in Jackson. It would allow Lowndes County to give money out to the various towns, Columbus, Caledonia, Artesia, and Crawford. It would allow them to oversee their own facilities, their own programs. The bill will now go to the Senate. If it becomes law, the county would have to decide then how it will manage its parks. If the two sides are going to end what is a long-term deal, the Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority. Leaders with both the city and Lowndes County are still discussing the specifics of what it would be to end that agreement. The principal of the largest high school in Mississippi says he's in favor of a current proposal. It's in the legislature, and it would say that 17-year-olds have to stay in school. Right now, a 17-year-old can legally drop out of high school in Mississippi. Tupelo High School principal Jason Harris, he says increasing that minimum age that a student can drop out, that would be beneficial, particularly for disadvantaged students.
Currently, the State Department provides attendance officers that come and help us try to keep kids in school and do things to help them receive their diploma. But obviously, when they reach that compulsory school age, they're kind of limited, and we're kind of limited in things that we can do to help them, get back in school.
Makes sense? Harris believes a change in the age to drop out could keep students from making hasty and what he calls poor decisions. And in Tupelo, the public and private sectors, they come together to develop strategies to reduce that dropout rate. This is the CREATE Foundation. The group hosted the 10th Dropout Prevention Summit. Representatives from more than 20 area districts, they gathered to share ideas and to hear about successful student retention plans. Organizers believe that it's important to get out ahead of this problem.
We were pleased to learn from a recent study that NSPARC did at Mississippi State that dropouts have been reduced by 50% from 2005 through 2013, which was the latest data we had. So the schools, the communities are making progress, and we think that's important.
Experts there also urge parents to get involved in their students' education. That's always a good idea. You know what could be a part of their education soon? A discovery today could show up in those science textbooks one day. NASA scientists have discovered what amounts to a new mini solar system. They're calling it the TRAPPIST-1 system. It has 7 planets roughly the same size of Earth orbiting a dwarf star. Scientists say they're going to have to study the planet's atmosphere before they can determine whether or not the planets could support some form of life.
It's significant, again, because this is the first planetary system that's had this many rocky planets found in one system. So with 7 planets in one system around one star, that suggests that we have lots and lots of planets in our galaxy. We're thinking now that we probably have more planets in our galaxy than we do stars, because at least every star has a planet, and maybe more than one planet.
It's a big universe out there. Since last spring, a total of 7 new planets have been discovered.
Well, on this planet right now, it is warm here in the deep south, and because of that, we're getting some of these spring blossoms even in late February, and we stay warm, maybe some record heat later this week. Full forecast is next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, I said this at 9 o'clock if you're watching the news over on the CW. Here's the weekend planner. It's Wednesday. You're thinking, all right, let's talk about the weekend. I'm thinking about the weekend right now. I'm sure most people in the station, nod your heads, please. Okay, we're all thinking about the weekend. It's looking pretty nice here. Saturday, Sunday, around 60 during the day. Now, at night here, Saturday night, you don't see it, but we could be down to around 30 degrees, so still a little bit of a winter chill. Right now, no issues. Our live Doppler radar is sweeping around. We do have the chance for some patchy, dense fog later on tonight. Nothing too crazy at this point, but look at some of these relative humidity values here approaching 100%, and that is a saturated environment. We have temperatures now cooling down into the 50s. Louisville reporting 49 right now. That's the outlier, but we're getting temperatures very close to that fog formation point. If you have some of that fog in your location right now, you know that. And so the potential is there for some additional fog later tonight. In Tupelo, 57. You don't see any major problem at this point, but the humidity very, very high as the situation is unfolding right now. Let's go to Starkville tomorrow morning. 57 degrees at 8 o'clock. Some of those low clouds and fog. By noon, 73. 4 o'clock, 78. And it's going to be a warm type afternoon here. Hard to believe that we're still talking about late April type warmth here. And it's only late February, so we've really advanced the calendar. 79 in Columbus, 80 for you in Macon, upper 70s over here in West Alabama. That is tomorrow. Let's talk about Friday. How about some more record highs? Yeah, you know what? Let's just continue the warmth on Friday. The old record in Columbus Friday, 79. The old record in Tupelo, 78 degrees, and I think we have a very good chance of getting into the low 80s with a strong southerly breeze out ahead of a cold front that could give us a little bit of rain late on Friday evening. Now, look at this. There's a blizzard watch up there across the Dakotas and Minnesota. So winter is still with us. It's way up there. The system that will give us the warmth for the next few days, the southerly breezes, will give the blizzard to our friends up to the northwest, but you'll see a chance for some of those showers and storms here as we get into our Friday evening. At this point, it doesn't look like anything too terribly strong around here, Tommy. We'll be watching it. And behind the front, cooler weather for the weekend, as we talked about earlier. A quick cool down because we're back into the 70s next week and more rain chances.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. 70s, lows in the 50s for next week. So just the brief low lows for the weekend.
Now, if you have any tender vegetation like me, I planted some tomatoes this past weekend. I'm just going to tug it a little bit closer to the house and just cover that, just to be on the safe side Saturday night.
Yeah, good advice. Keith, thank you very much. Big news from the NCAA today. Ole Miss, we found out more about these allegations from the NCAA and Ole Miss's response. That's later on in sports. Stay with us. To our Health Talk with Baptist segment. February is Heart Month. Tonight, Baptist is talking about what can increase the risk of a heart attack.
Hi, I'm Dr. John King, part of the cardiology team at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight I want to talk to you about the risk factors for a heart attack. A heart attack occurs when a blockage in a coronary artery becomes severe enough to stop oxygen from reaching part of the heart muscle. Certain risk factors contribute to the unwanted buildup of fatty deposits that cause these blockages in the arteries throughout your body. You can improve or eliminate some of these risk factors to reduce your chances of having a first or subsequent heart attack. Others, such as age or family history, are out of your control. The most common risk factors are age. Men age 45 or older and women age 55 and older are more likely to have a heart attack. Tobacco, smoking, and long-term exposure to secondhand smoke can increase your risk of a heart attack. High blood pressure. High blood pressure can damage the arteries that feed your heart. High blood cholesterol or triglyceride levels. Diabetes, family history. If your siblings, parents, or grandparents have had early heart attacks, you may be at increased risk. Lack of physical activity, obesity, stress, illegal drug use. Using stimulant drugs such as cocaine or amphetamines can trigger a spasm of your coronary arteries that can cause a heart attack. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will discuss how a heart attack is treated.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Here's WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe.
The NCAA has completed its investigation into the Ole Miss football program, and the new notice of allegations has been received and officially addressed by the University of Mississippi in a video released by this school today. You can see that video and the entire transcript. It's a 20-minute video. You can find that and the Ole Miss response on our website now at WCBI.com. Let's run through the major bullet points on the Ole Miss NCAA investigation. The NCAA has charged Ole Miss with the dreaded lack of institutional control, a charge that Ole Miss is expected to contest. Freeze is also charged with violating responsibility legislation of a head coach that will also be contested. Ole Miss has already self-inflicted a one-year bowl ban for the upcoming 2017 season, and in the process as well, they will forfeit $7.8 million of the annual postseason revenue, which is distributed evenly amongst the SEC schools. A little more in-depth on the allegations, charges, and violations. Now, there's 8 new violations. One old violation has been expanded to a level 1, so we're going to call it 9 new violations, 7 of which are level 1 violations. That is a severe breach of conduct according to the NCAA, and Ole Miss is expected to contest 5 and possibly 6. They're working on the 4th violation, whether or not they should go forward with it, as violations that they will contest in front of the NCAA in a hearing coming up in a few months. Head coach Hugh Freeze, Ross Bjork, acknowledged and addressed the situation.
Unfortunately, these penalties are necessary for our program to be responsible and to move forward. While it is extremely difficult to ask current players to suffer penalties based on the actions of others, I agree with the decision to self-impose a one-year bowl ban by our university.
The additional allegations announced today are serious, but we will vigorously defend the university against those allegations that we believe are not appropriately supported, including that we lacked institutional control and that our head coach did not promote an atmosphere of compliance or monitor staff in our football program.
We will continue to follow this story throughout the week and coming months with Ole Miss and their football program. Well, let's shift gears to basketball. The Oklahoma Chieftains boys basketball team has been in the spotlight in Class 2A all year. They defeated Calvin City last week to win the district championship, and they beat Strayhorn Tuesday in the first round of the basketball playoffs. Now they are one win away from reaching the state tournament in Jackson. Jonathan Flippo has more with our student athletes of the week.
The Oklahoma Chieftain boys basketball team was eliminated in the second round of the playoffs last season. Now, this season, the team has been on a mission to avenge that loss.
The season's been great. Every day we come to practice, our coach tells us work hard. We get on the line every day. We just do everything he tells us to do.
They've been good playing good team ball and moving around and winning lots of games.
It's been a successful season for us thus far. We came in with some lofty goals and we kind of trying to live up to the expectations. The guys bought into everything we're doing defensively and both offensively. So it's been one of those seasons.
The Chieftains lost 4 seniors from last year's team, and this season's team has also 4 seniors, but none of those seniors start. They come off the bench as role players to give the team a lift when they are called upon.
I love it. I'm like the energy guy. I bring the energy to the team. Like we get in, defense crank up. I love defense.
They never complain. I mean, they do whatever I ask them to do. Actually, I got two seniors this year, the first time actually playing high school basketball, and they came in and bought into the program. Hard-working guys, never complain, and just they just give me all they got.
The Oklahoma Chieftain boys basketball team has reeled off 27 wins in a row since their last loss back in the first game against Tupelo. Now this team is focused and ready to make a run to a state championship down in Jackson.
Do the same thing we've been doing all season. Just work at it. Work hard. Don't never give up.
Keep listening to your coach as he tell you what to do and have and respect him at what you need to do.
And that's our goal. I know it's a long ways to get there, but we're going to keep working at it. I think athletics is a big deal here in Oklahoma. We're just trying to live up to those expectations and trying to make our city proud.
The Chieftains go for their 28th straight win and for a spot in Jackson in the state tournament when they host Ingomar Saturday at 7 p.m. Reporting in Oklahoma, I'm Jonathan Flippo with WCBI Sports.
WCBI Student Athlete of the Week with Jonathan Flippo is brought to you by C Spire Wireless.
Tommy, I just want to advance a couple of days here and get to
Okay.
the weekend. I mentioned that earlier. But Roy, I'd like to take the next couple of days off. It's going to be gorgeous around here.
Looks great.
But I won't. We'll be here.
No, we'll be here. All right, Steve, thank you. Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It's going up next. Have a great night.